You are now listening to Carlie's Couch.
I'm Carlie.
And I'm Lex.
In this podcast, we discuss a wide array of topics about life and how to live your best life.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Hope y'all enjoy.
Hello. Welcome to Carlie's Couch. Thanks for listening. We have another good episode for you today. Very practical still.
Very practical. I'm still excited. If you have not, please leave us a review, 5 stars, of course, on Apple Podcasts. And we also have a voicemail that you can call in and leave us a message, ask us a question. If you want us to discuss a topic, you can call us at, it's in the show notes.
323-505-2030, I believe.
Yeah.
Call us. We're listening to those. And what we do is we play them during the show. You may have heard that back when we did the LinkedIn episode, we played one then. So we'll play that at the show, give our kind of response or acknowledgement to that, and then get on with the topic. How you doing, Carlie?
I'm good. I'm really chill. And after having a couple of what I would say is probably anxious weeks, I feel chill. I feel good. How you doing today?
That's good. I am coming up off a slump today, so feeling all right today. And kind of feeling good and excited about the end of the year now, starting to be what I'm thinking about a lot. So things are going pretty good.
Yeah, and as we're thinking about the fourth quarter of the year, Q4, that's why there's a lot more practical episodes, a lot of things that you can put into implementation today. She mentioned the LinkedIn episode. If you haven't listened, go back and do that. Do yourself a favor. And then what are we talking about today?
Yeah, I need to do that LinkedIn stuff myself.
Same.
But I have gotten a lot of good people connecting as well from it. So
me too, and saying y'all reached out because of the episode. I'm sorry, I got so excited. My bad.
So thank you guys for paying attention. And then everybody had a note on there. Well, a couple people. And then I could tell a couple people were still trying to figure it out and fix their profiles and stuff up. So listen back to the episode. Feel free to connect and ask us any other questions that you have. But today is kind of one of those episodes where, for a lot of folks who might be in a transitional period of switching things up a little bit, maybe you're trying to level up in whatever area. And it's always feels like there's this weird period where you want to do something different / bigger, whatever that looks like, but you still keep getting presented, almost like you're getting tested with opportunities and other things to do. And it can be hard to say no to them because, you maybe could do it or that's an easy check or whatever it may be. But that's just even one example of, what that could look like. It may be that you're a person who knows a lot of people and a lot of people ask you to do things. And sometimes you just have to say no. So today we're going to talk about, when it's okay or what those signs might be that you should say no to an opportunity, even though it might look good or you're kind of trying to think about if you should do it.
And this is super key for me because I feel like I used to be a person that said yes to everything. I'd be like, oh my God, yes, absolutely. I love it. I'm in for it. All these things. And then I just started running into a lot of issues, which we'll discuss in our things to look out for, things to check for. But, not every opportunity is a good opportunity. It might be great, but it might not be great for you. Just not all money is good money. So knowing the difference.
But why do you think you were saying yes to everything?
I'm an excited person. I just get excited about things, and I can convince myself in my head like that, oh, this is alignment. This is great. And I want to do this. Or if it's my friend and I really want to help out on a project, or if it's like a company, I'm really excited that I just like their brand and I'm like, oh, I would love to work with them, even if it might not be, the best fit for me. And so right when I came out of business school, I found myself saying yes to entirely too many things and then being exhausted and driving myself crazy. And so this episode is super key for me as I'm thinking moving forward.
But I feel like that might be fair that, in your excitement, because that's something I don't think we really planned about in the notes, but, that's not necessarily coming from a negative place, just being really excited and wanting to support people or, wanting to be a part of things, unless that's something which, as everything might be, you can kind of dig back even more layers to, other stuff, of course, and why, you may be that type of person. But if you're excited about it, you're excited about it. But one thing that I think about when I think a lot of people are saying yes to every opportunity that comes in front of them or just to too many things, that it's because they're coming from more of a scarcity mindset and scared that you're going to lose out on something or scared you're going to miss out on something, whether that's what that opportunity is, whether again it's the check, whether it's whatever there might be that's a glimmer of, should I do this? Versus coming from an abundant mindset. And I think that you should never be scared to say no to like the wrong opportunity. And then it's almost more important to say no to the wrong types of projects or the wrong types of people and so forth as you move through things. I think that's a big lesson that I've learned over time, because you always feel it. And that's why it's always, at the end or in the middle of it when you're like, I shouldn't have did that or whatever. Like you always feel that and you're like, I knew I shouldn't have. Ooh. So it's never like you don't know. You just chose the scarcity and being like, man, I should just do this. So that's kind of what we're going to challenge today with these reasons why, if you're thinking about something, this may be like, okay, let's just say no to it.
Man, I'm so glad that you addressed that scarcity mindset. That is, oh my God, so real, especially with things being so uncertain right now with the pandemic and with the elections and with everything that's going on. It's even more crazy and people even want more stability and structure and so just moving forward in ways that honor yourself. I heard a quote, because y'all know I love quotes. And if you don't, now you do. Mm-hmm. The other day that said, life isn't testing you. It's giving you an opportunity to prove that you are who you say you are. And for this, I just think about it like, is the person, my ideal version of myself, the highest version of myself, am I accepting every opportunity? Absolutely not. Like I'm accepting what honors me, what moves me forward, what helps my community, what works in purpose. And so making sure that you're evaluating those things and honoring yourself.
Yep. So one of the first things is if the opportunity is not in alignment with where you want to be and who you want to be, so your values, then that could be a reason to say no. And one of the things when we say like where you want to be, I put that as part of the framing because, sometimes there's projects you can pull on. And again, everything isn't work related, but those might just be kind of the examples I use. But something may be presented to you to do, to contribute to work on. But if that's not adding to the portfolio of what you want to bring more in of, then it kind of might not be any benefit of you to take that on. Did that make sense? So when you say like where you want to be, so if I want to work on X type of project, but right now I've been working on B type of project, getting more of the B saying yes to that doesn't make the room for me to do those other things that I really said I actually want to move more towards that. And so making sure that, hey, if I take on this project and there's nothing that's great that's going to come out of this, nothing to show off that I can use to bring in more of what I want, because you just bring in more of the same. It's kind of cyclical. If you continue to work on the same type of project and it's not showing any other range, then how do you expect to be looked at in that range? So at some point you have to say goodbye to that. And an example of that would be like with Damo, I would say, where we were laughing the other day because he was like, yeah, the post I just put up on Instagram is kind of my goodbye to being an AC. And while many people are, working as a camera assistant while also establishing themselves as a cinematographer or so forth, in different spaces, it's like, all right, at some point, I'm not taking those jobs anymore because he's getting enough of, and by the more he takes on, the more he's showing his ability to take on more in that space. And so where you want to be can be something that informs whether you should do that opportunity or not.
I think where you want to be is a great guiding light for how you get there. It's like your roadmap. And so looking at that, looking at the actual company or the partnership, looking at, Lexi mentioned the work, the angle, like looking at every piece of what the opportunity is and seeing if it's going to get you to that space.
Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to your values, it's how would this project reflect on you? And so there's been times when I might be presented with something, but I'm like this, I don't really like where this is going. Or, sometimes people are in the right place, but if this isn't something that I can stand behind but want to say, hey, I worked on this, or present like, hey, this is my work, or I did this, I pushed this project. And that could be because of like values as far as beliefs on the message and themes. But it can also be on the reflection of the quality of the project. Your friend may be doing a project and, oh, wow, that's great. Awesome. But then when you see a piece of it, you're like, half the words are misspelled. It doesn't look correct. And it's like, do I really want to even have my name on this project? What does that do for me again? And so to think about like how that reflects your values, how that reflects your own level of quality is important as well.
Very important. And that brings to mind a story. I was pitching this project with this team, and then I realized that one of our teammates like wasn't aligned with my values and integrity and who I am as a person. And I had to step away from the project because the last thing I want is for us to get this big project and me to be known and associated with you. And that is so real. So you really have to look at all of those pieces.
That is key. And then shout out Trav Bond. This morning I was talking to him for like a couple hours. You know, he be talking. And he was like, we were talking about a project and like, man, should take this on because it feels like it could be an easy check. But then backing up off top with anything, if you find yourself justifying why to do something, then that's already a sign like not to do it. Because what you're doing is looking for something that's going against what your body's telling you anyway. But Trav Bond, one of his things that he said, he was like, well, listen, everybody has to decide, are you going to be a billboard company? And by that, he was saying like, nobody looks at the billboard and it's like, oh, that's a reflection of, AYZ billboard company. Like it's just the billboard and whoever's paid for that billboard. And if you're okay with whatever messaging goes up there, then okay, that's cool. Or are you a person where like, if you're the billboard and you're associated with that, you'll feel some kind of way. And so there are businesses where it's like, oh, that's not really, connected as much to you, or you may not care about it like that. But everybody just has a different scale for like how they feel about that. And so if you're okay with that, if you're a billboard company, cool. But he was like, yeah, like, if you're a billboard company and Donald Trump was like, here's, X amount to put up something, would you do it or not? And so just thinking about that, like, where do you fall with your values when it comes to things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last one is like, is this harmful to anybody? Is this hurting anybody? Is this fighting against progress or values and things that I care about? So looking at those companies, one thing for me is whenever I go in and do corporate workshops and programming with people, I always like to look at their board to see if they have people of color, Black people, brown people, women on their board. And if they don't, I'm like, I don't really want to work with them. I want to work with people, who are intentional about who they have. And so maybe
what
not
if that's
harmful.
why they're trying to bring you in?
Well, then that's different. But a lot of times it's not, because I'm not in D&I work or like diversity and inclusion type of work specifically. A lot of times it's not. If it was, that might be different. But also I'd have to see like legs behind the program instead of just like paying people to come in and talk. But are they doing harm? Are they in alignment with your beliefs? Like always circling back to that.
Another reason why you may say no to an opportunity is if the expectations of it are unrealistic and if you're unable to deliver.
That's real. That is so real. What will moving forward, like if you say yes to this opportunity, what does that entail? What does it require? Like what is your total commitment and investment like of your time is a huge one. It's like, if you only have so many hours in a day, like what does it look like with saying yes to this opportunity and all of your other projects and your friendships, relationships, personal time? Like what does that look like for you?
Yeah. And also, first of all, too, it's okay to take a minute to like figure things out and think about that instead of just saying like yes immediately to things. Even if it is something you may be interested in, taking a little bit more of a beat to consider all of these things would be important as you take it on. But yeah, like, when somebody's asking you to do something or you're getting an opportunity and it's already too last minute for you to perform the way you need to perform. So again, it's like if you're not getting any benefit of you saying, hey, this is my work and this is great, then it's not, really worth doing for you.
Absolutely. So looking at your time, your bandwidth, and then your resources and knowledge, making sure that you can deliver quality program, service, product, whatever it is that they're asking you to do.
Another reason to say no to something is if it's not good for both the short-term and your long-term goals or your long-term vision that you have for yourself.
Absolutely. So looking at things as like, what is your opportunity cost? So if you say yes to this thing, you might have to say no to something else. And so just seeing in your long-term vision, like what does this look like? Where does this fit in? Like if I say yes to this, how does it shift my priorities and my goals?
And I have a tattoo. One of them says euthymia, and that's a philosophical term that speaks to knowing your path and sticking to your path despite all the interactions around it and intersections that other people bring in and out. And so it's always, folks who are going to be doing things, maybe they want to bring you in on stuff. And again, presenting you with opportunities per se, or you seeing opportunities that look cool to you. But it's really important to make sure that they're not going to be distractions from your own path and from what you have your focus on and what you've stated is your focus. And so thinking about If somebody's presenting an opportunity to you, sure, it might sound cool, but like, is this a complete distraction and or leading you off of your trail, or does it complement and in alignment with what you want to do or explore?
And that's a huge one because, like I said at the beginning, I get excited. I'm like, oh man, they're helping people and they're doing this and doing that and doing all these great things in the community. And while all of those things might be true, it isn't in alignment with what I'm trying to do. And so I recently had to pass on something because I was like, man, they're doing such dope stuff, but it's just not where I am right now. And I can still go volunteer and support, but it's not there. Another thing I think that people get caught up in like short term and long term is like, what if I need money though? Like, and I'm evaluating these opportunities.
Yeah, I just said that earlier. When you always think about that, like, oh man, but I could get that money from that real quick. How do you determine if, like if I need to pay my rent tomorrow, like how do you determine what that might look like between making those decisions to take on those opportunities?
For me, and I'll just reference like personal training. So my side hustles are personal training, yoga, and mindfulness. I have personal clients and I teach classes. And although that's not my main goal, it does help support my main goal in the moment. And so if my projects and my programming for my main focus aren't bringing in the money that I need right now, I have to suck it up and take some more clients and do what I need to do. And although I enjoy it, that's not necessarily my main focus. And so like that's kind of how I differentiate. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and do it, but like how far is it pulling you away from what your main focus is?
Yeah, and I would suggest that you just spend more time in brainstorm mode because a lot of times if you're presented with something and like, I don't really want to do this, or it's going to take up too much of your time, not be really worth it in the end, all of those things, a lot of times you can really sit down and think about things you're already doing and or quick opportunities, if it needs to be fast, opportunities that, okay, but if I spent that time, like these 2 days or this whatever time working on that or finishing this or putting this out or, attacking this list or whatever, what could come from that? And so a lot of times, like even in the past, like that's what's always kept me from, thinking about doing different other job opportunities, et cetera, because it's like, it's not really worth it to spend that much time and think I'll work on my stuff later versus me just putting the hours and like the work into my own projects to like grow it myself because you have to grow it. So I think brainstorming is really, really key with yourself, with others, if you need to think about ways that you can generate something different and or just like figure something out now.
And not allowing yourself to get lulled into complacency. So just like Lexi said, brainstorming and doing that, I've found myself recently like, oh man, while it is easy just to be like, okay, let me get a client and do this. Like if I spent more time thinking about my programming, then maybe I wouldn't have to teach as much. And so that's kind of where I am right now. It's like, although I enjoy it, I feel like I've been comfortable with it. And so I'm like pushing myself out of that. It's like, yes, I can do this out of necessity, but I can also do other things that are more in alignment.
Yeah, it's kind of a transitional period where you kind of got to play it till you feel like comfortable enough to go, whether it's all in or whether it's, totally focusing on one thing or the other. And so it's really a matter of like seeing yourself and like where you are, how you're feeling about, that balance and what that looks like, because it does suck to feel like you're not doing what you want to be doing, So really taking kind of inventory of that. Mm-hmm. Another reason to say no to opportunities, if you're like completely, like if it's out of scope already and you're just completely not excited or moved by it. So like it may be something like that a friend's doing and they ask for your help with and or, somebody's bringing this to you and it's like, oh man, that's the work I hate doing. But, and it's not even in the scope of like helping you move forward. I think that's a good time to say no because it's so hard. It's so much more of a drag to do stuff that you're not into, no matter how much like you're getting out of it, honestly.
And thinking about how much like mentally it'll drain you to do those things that you don't care about or enjoy. Like, yeah, you can get the money. Yeah, we talked about that. But like, how exhausted are you going to be for everything else that you're doing? Or how like listless is kind of what I keep thinking about. Are you going to be like in those moments when you're doing that? And it's just so funny because I had someone reach out about an engineering job. I'm like, y'all know that I quit that, right? Like a long time ago, like I'm done. And then also to do social media management, I used to do that for my mentor. And I was like, I don't want to do that, but I know some great people who can. Like make sure that you're working in your strengths. Like just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, 100%. And doesn't even mean that you should take on the opportunity to pass it to somebody else either. Like you can even do that, but that's still like the management of that person and kind of watching what they're doing, and it's still added on. So again, you'd be smart about it, but a lot of times it's not going to be worth it if you just really have no interest there.
Absolutely not. Another thing to think about is, does this opportunity take advantage of you? Like, are you in a situation where you're just the person everybody comes to for something, and so that's just what they're doing? Like, is your worth being acknowledged? Like, do they see your value wherever you are, and do they appreciate what you bring to the table, both monetarily and like with emotional intelligence?
Yeah, because sometimes, like I'll have people hit me up last minute and it's because they just haven't found somebody, or, they're still looking for something or whatever. But then it's like, all right, people who know, how things go, and it's like, bruh, like y'all can't just be hitting me talking about, can this happen right now or today or tomorrow? And, you don't have to say yes to those things. You can say, no, I have other things going on, and set those boundaries for people to work with you the way you need them to work with you. And so a lot of times I feel like, you wouldn't do that with a different type of, business or whatever else. So it's like kind of making sure that you set that for yourself, that people aren't just trying to take advantage of you because of accessibility or because of, them getting to you in your time.
Mm-hmm. And then also, like, are you being worn too thin with all of the things that you're taking on, either from that client or from, they're like, oh, can you do this one extra thing? Yeah, I can, I got you. It's not a big deal. But like, then now you're exhausted and up until 3 and have a meeting at 5. Like, what are you respecting and honoring yourself with everything that you're doing?
Yeah. And also just making sure you're not a yes man. So unlike what Carlie was saying earlier, like not just immediately saying yes to everything, like take your time. Because like it might not be serving you, and so it's not good to pretend like it is, and or to think about it and make sure and look at it deeper to make sure it is. Like, do your research on stuff, on opportunities. Like people even hit us about stuff, and it's like, and Carlie, I'm gonna ask her quick, like, so what are they talking about? Because it doesn't make sense to be like, oh, do you want to do this? Sure, let's do this, and we don't know what's going on, so make sure you pay attention to things, make sure you look into what an opportunity entails. And again, that kind of trains people to like give you that time and that process as well.
And I love that. Lexi's helped me a lot with boundaries when it comes to those things, just because those are questions she asked about her time. And it's like, oh, wow, like she values her time so much, and her, brand and who she is and all of these things. And it's like, man, like, even though I'd be so excited about stuff sometimes, it's like, I just have to slow down and make sure I'm not saying yes to everything, even if it is exciting or even if it does help people. The last thing I'll say is, when you are thinking about helping friends, like, take that time to think about what that actual commitment will be, because if you overcommit and then you're not able to deliver, that could harm the friendship or the relationship or whatever project they're working on. But also, like, someone had asked me for a board to be on the board of an organization. And I was like, I can't do that, but like, I do want to support with events, and here's what I can do. So maybe there is an in-between that fits both of what you're wanting in this like partnership or whatever, friendship, whatever it is with this event or whatever is going on, as opposed to like saying yes to having an actual position or to being a part of this company or to whatever it is.
Yeah, that reminds me of like a couple of things I kind of ghosted, because I remember some people like hitting me up about being on the board, and stuff sounds so cool, and it's like, man, you do want to be helpful and you like their mission, etc. But then it's just like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. Like, this isn't gonna work, and it's just too much time. So if you're already doing too much, like really think about how you're using your time, making sure like the things you're doing make sense, and then knowing what opportunities you're looking for, because sure, things come to you. And they may be a good opportunity to explore a different space and or, something adjacent to what you're doing, which is always interesting to, dabble into. But, and this is for those things where, like, this doesn't really feel good. Like, I don't really like, the vibe of this person. This project's kind of whatever, like, oh, this podcast has 2 listeners. Like, do I really need to spend my time there? And or do I want to, put myself in that position? So when you feel like that, make sure you understand that you don't have to justify it, that it's okay to just say no, and to honor yourself, as Carlie has said.
No is a full sentence. Nothing needs to be said after that. I would also, I know I keep saying also, look at the fruit of whatever the company is or the product or whatever is happening. So looking at the fruit that they're bearing before you get involved with anything, as Alexia mentioned, and then just knowing that opportunities will come. Like, you don't have to say yes to everything. There's not just going to be 2 doors that are open in your life. And if you miss one, it's like, no, like if you're in alignment, if you're doing the work, opportunities will come, and you just have to trust that. I saw this quote by Steve Jobs, and it says, it's only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important. And so what can you say no to in your life that would create more space and opportunity for things that you actually want to say yes to?
Great question. Is that
That's
the question?
actually, well, no, but now it is. So, our question of the week is, what can you say no to?
Oh gosh. And we're answering this one?
Yeah.
I'm about to be writing an email saying no to projects that I don't think push appropriate like narratives and or serve the general people well. So saying no to projects, even though it's like, oh, that would be nice to be working on some different stuff, but nah.
More opportunities shall soon come. I can say no to the scarcity mindset, as I talked through kind of on the podcast about like, oh man, if I need cash, I'm gonna take more clients. I'm like, no, I'm gonna challenge myself to not do that, and just to put that time and that thought, and possibly brainstorm with Alexia here about some ways that I don't have to do that.
I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say no to that.
Damn, that's not awkward at all.
That's funny. No, I just had to say that because it was funny as hell. But also,
So what can y'all say no to, or what have you been saying no to create space for more things in your life that you want? And it doesn't have to be work related. It can be friendship, relationship, personally, habits, whatever. But what can you say no to this week?
Let us know. Hit us up on carliescouch.com. Leave us some notes under the episodes. You can comment on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Share the podcast with others. Share the podcast with others if you think they would benefit from this, if they're always saying yes to stuff or seem to be taking on too much. And let us know how you feel about it by leaving a review and 5 stars. We appreciate you guys.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.